Hi everyone, thanks again for being here this week for another quick and easy recipe. So let's just pull together this recipe really quickly so I can show you how comforting and nutritious and wonderful this meal really is. So I just showed you we're going to make some potatoes in the pressure cooker. You can also do it in a pot if you don't have a pressure cooker, no big deal. And then we're also going to make Brussels sprouts. I found these at the grocery store and they were super fresh and they're really huge and they were actually really clean as well. So I usually just chop them up. I rinse everything out and then I can add that to my baking dish. So I just like to cut them in half. That's how I prefer to do it. You can leave them whole if you want to and just cut the end if you would like. Do whatever you prefer, but this is how I like to do it. So I'm just going to chop them up and then throw them into my baking dish. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to add for extra flavor along with the herbs and spices that I'm going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to be adding some onion powder. Some Mrs. Dash. Oregano. Garlic powder. And some Himalayan salt. So I'm using this better than Bouillon. You can use whatever veggie broth you have, or you can leave it out. I'm only adding this for some extra flavor. It is kind of expensive, but I do dilute it. And so one of these jars lasts me for quite a while. You can also make your homemade veggie broth, which would be even healthier, but this is what I'm going to be using in this recipe. So just 1 teaspoon, and then you're going to see that I'm going to dilute it in almost boiling water. It's just really hot water. And then I'm going to whisk it up and mix it and then just toss it right into my Brussels sprouts. So now that I've combined everything well, I'm just going to throw my top on and then bake it in the oven. And I like to keep the top on and then just take it off for maybe the last 10 minutes or so. And you can also broil the top if you like it extra crispy, totally up to you, but I do like doing that extra step, and I will broil for an extra 10 minutes before removing everything out of the oven. Okay, so I have these ready to go beans that I found in my international aisle at the grocery store. They are already ready to go and you can eat them as is, but I don't think I'm gonna like them like that. So I am gonna go ahead and heat them up in a pot, and I'm gonna add some seasonings that I like. And actually, I found it still not seasoned quite enough. I would have added a little bit more had I known, but now I know for the future. So I'm just adding some staple things like onion powder, garlic powder, and I'm adding some salt and pepper and a little bit of paprika, and that's it, just to jazz up my beans just a little bit. Okay, so after adding all my seasonings, I'm just going to go ahead, heat them up, and then check on my potatoes. And remember, I overcooked those potatoes at 25 minutes in the Instant Pot on purpose. That way I can just mash them straight in there, no problem. I sometimes add a little bit of non-dairy unsweetened milk. Sometimes I add a little bit of broth just to make them extra creamy. But on this day, I just literally just mashed them up and that was it. And I added some salt and pepper to my potatoes. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes I add a Mrs. Dash as well. or everything but the bagel seasoning on top of my potatoes just for some extra flavor, but that's really all you need to do. Just mash them right in the Instant Pot and you've got your perfect mashed potatoes. And here are the Brussels sprouts out of the oven, looking absolutely delicious. I am super happy with how they turned out. Okay guys, so here is how my meal turned out. Oh my gosh, so delicious. I love having the potatoes. You don't have to, add any milk or, butters or anything like that if you don't want to. Honestly, the yellow potatoes in the Instant Pot taste so delicious just the way they are. But you do whatever you feel is best for you and your preference. But, following the starch solution, we do avoid butters. So I just left them plain just like that and added my, seasonings on top, and they were delicious. And then same thing with the beans. They're oil-free and delicious. My Brussels sprouts didn't have to add any extra oil, and I just used, some broth for extra flavor and seasonings, and that's it. A very, very simple and delicious meal. Okay, so now I am going on to a childhood favorite of mine, chestnuts. So Portuguese tradition, a lot of people usually just boil it in a pot of water, and then once they get a little bit soft and you just know when they're cooked, I do it by eye, then you could just peel it and eat it just the way it is, and they taste really good that way. But I found that roasting them in the oven is just so much easier, and they still taste delicious, and really, the outside just breaks right off, so it's so much easier. So I find that now I just roast them all the time instead of boiling them. So what I do is I line a baking tray and then I cut a little bit in the middle, like a little slit inside each chestnut, because if you don't, they may explode in your oven. I know somebody that happened to, and it was just a huge mess and so sad because they ended up with no chestnuts. So after that experience, I said, okay, well, now I'm just going to cut a little slit. You can do it anywhere on the chestnut. I just found that either the very top or just the middle is perfectly fine, and that way you can just break it apart really easy once they're cooked. I'll show you guys how to do that, right at the end of the video when I am taking them out of the shells. But yeah, that's it. You just cut a little slit and then you're going to pop it into the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. So it depends on how strong your oven is, but you will see that they will start cracking open, on their own, and you'll know that they're nice and cooked. So like I said, they start to open up on their own, and then you know that they're cooked and ready to go, and all you do is peel it. So I find that if they are hot, they're going to peel a lot easier. So if you do allow them to cool down completely, they may give you a little bit of a hard time to peel completely because they kind of have like a fuzzy layer on the inside. So yeah, just heat them again and then peel them as you want to eat them, and they're so delicious and such a nice snack. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it was helpful for you in some way. Let me know in the comments below what your go-to holiday meals are that make you feel comforted or bring back some special memories for you. I would love to know. Thanks again for everyone for being here and for the support on the channel.